Hello everyone, thank you for joining us for our next Facebook Live session. Today we're going to be talking about the benefits for owner-operators to filing their taxes early, or at least getting a start on their taxes early. Waiting to file your taxes or even filing an extension isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there are some definite benefits to starting earlier in the season. So to help us walk through those benefits, today we're joined by Michael Schneider, who is the tax manager here at ATBS. And we're going to be talking about an infographic that we just released called The Benefits to Owner-Operators Who Start Their Taxes Early. So this infographic is being used to help guide our discussion, and it's something that you can download by clicking the link in the comments section. So to get started, the first benefit of starting your taxes early is that it eliminates the stress of the tax deadline. What are some of the common things that you see truck drivers stressing out about this time of year when it comes to taxes?
Sure. Probably most significantly, the comment for us is, what are the results of the tax return? Am I going to owe this year? Am I getting a refund? And really, the sooner you get your information in, the sooner we can have the return done and that information shared, prepare you for, if you do have a liability, actually saving and paying that liability, or if you do have a refund, what to expect in that refund and get that as soon as possible.
Great. Starting your taxes early also gives you time to make a plan rather than rush to the finish line. What all goes into a good tax plan, and how does this help somebody filing their return?
Sure. So you want to really allow yourself as much time as possible to really think through and process what's happened in the last 12 months or the last year, maybe more than that. You know, as considering it's February now, we've got 14 months to think about. And really go through all the deductions. And so the earlier you start, the longer a period of time you have to think about deductions that you may have missed or income that you may have received from a prior job, all those things that go into maximizing that tax return and making it the best possible return. Additionally, it's important to remember the April 15th deadline carries the weight of two deadlines. You have the tax of the prior year due on April 15th, and you also have the tax due for the first quarter tax estimate of the current year. So if we're talking 2019 and 2020, both of those tax liabilities are due on April 15th. So the sooner the better. If you know you're going to owe, you at least know both amounts to prepare to pay those.
Right. Also, facing less competition to work with a tax professional is another benefit of getting started early. I'm sure you'll notice that there's plenty of people who wait until the last minute to get their taxes filed, and then tax preparers are, of course, very backed up as a result of that. So what is the difference with working with someone earlier in the year on your taxes versus waiting until the last minute?
Sure, and something I use in my life is there's two types of people you don't want to rush. The people that make your food and your mechanic. These things take time. You want them to be done right. The earlier the better, really. You don't want to be in that heavy season where everybody's rushing to get that deadline done and trying to get through the work as fast as possible. You want to give your tax professional as much time as possible to get all of the available deductions for you.
Right, absolutely. And then the best way to ensure that you don't face any late filing penalties is to start your taxes early again. Can you go into some of the consequences of filing your taxes late with or without an extension?
Yeah, there are 4 penalties that taxpayers need to be aware of. The first and the largest of the penalties is the failure to file penalty. This is a 5% penalty on any balance due when you miss the April 15th deadline. Now, we're not talking extensions here, like you mentioned in the beginning. Extensions extend the time to file and also extend the failure to file penalty to October 15th. However, if you miss the deadline, that is a 5% up to a maximum of 25% due on your taxes on top of what you just owed normally. The second type of penalty is the failure to pay penalty. Now, we've talked a lot about extensions, and there's some confusion around, do I get an extension of time to pay, or do I get an extension of time to file, or both? It is only an extension of time to file. Taxes are always due on April 15th. So if you do have a balance due and you haven't paid it by April 15th, you're going to face another penalty. This one's not as severe, it's a 0.5%, but the longer that goes by, that's a 0.5% every month, up to, again, a maximum of 25%. So that could take some time, but again, the less you owe, or if you owe nothing, these penalties start to diminish or go away altogether. The third type of penalty and there's a lot of confusion around this one, is the failure to timely pay your quarterly tax estimates. A lot of confusion. People think if I pay by April 15th, I'm good. No, that's not actually true. You will be penalized, just like any company or credit card, if you want to think about it that way. They charge you interest every month that a balance is due. So you want to hit those quarterly tax estimate deadlines and pay something. If you don't even know exactly what to pay, pay something so that you don't face that penalty. That penalty is based on the interest rate that the IRS sets. So that changes every quarter. Right now it's about 5%, but in the last 10 years it's ranged anywhere from 3% to 6%. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you're going to be paying there as far as interest goes. Interest never stops. There's no maximum. So until you pay that balance, interest is going to continue to accrue. And that's really the fourth type of penalty. It's not actually a penalty because it's called interest. But again, you're going to face that interest on the balance due after April 15th if it has not been paid. So two types of interest payments there. One for not making your quarterly tax estimates on time, another for not paying your taxes by April 15th.
Great, thank you. And so the last benefit that we mentioned is that if you file your taxes earlier and you are getting a refund, you'll get that refund earlier. So can you explain what getting a tax refund really means, especially for owner-operators, and why getting one isn't necessarily the best thing, even though it sounds like a good idea?
Absolutely, yeah, and that is really confusing because, hey, I got a refund, this is fantastic, I have extra money to spend. That refund is really, in my opinion, the IRS has done a very nice job of creatively wording that as far as terminology goes, where they make it seem like a good thing. What that really means is that you've paid too much. You've overpaid your taxes during the year, whether that be through withholding or quarterly taxes. However you make your tax payments, you paid too much. The reason that's bad is because the IRS is not giving you interest back on that loan that you gave them, if you want to think about it that way. So if you're getting a refund of $2,000, the IRS hung on to that for the 12-month period until you file your taxes, and you're getting no benefit for that. That $2,000 would have been a lot better off spent on maybe business equipment or in a savings account earning you interest or earning you any sort of benefit where you're not getting from the IRS.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of any other benefits to starting your taxes earlier that we haven't already mentioned?
Sure. So in my experience, once a taxpayer falls behind on filing taxes, it's really hard to catch up. And we obviously can help you with that if you're looking for assistance with that. But think of it in terms of your business equipment that you use, your tractor and your trailer. You have preventative maintenance that you do. Expecting that maintenance to come along, you're preventively doing it. As opposed to ignoring that situation that's kind of building up, and then you have a blowout or you have an equipment failure, and it's this kind of catastrophic issue that's stopping you from performing your work. It's the same deal with taxes. You want to get ahead, you want to file your returns, you want to pay your tax due preventatively as much in advance as you can. And that's probably the biggest advice I can give to folks. There's some paralysis when it comes to that. Like, I haven't filed in the last 3 years. What am I supposed to do? I guess I'll just continue to not file. Mm-hmm. That's probably the worst thing you could do. So I know it's scary, but come see us. We can help you get caught up.
Yep, absolutely. So with that being said, April 15th is just right around the corner. So get started on your taxes early. Get started on them now. If you need help, that's what we're here for. So just visit our website at atbs.com. or give us a call, 866-920-2827. We'll be happy to get your tax return started and get you underway. Again, Michael, thank you for joining us for
Absolutely.
this. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments, or like I said, visit us on our website or give us a call. Thanks very much. Have a great day, everybody.